It's one of those days, and it's a Friday. You know, one of those days. Deep in emotion. Deep in. Oh, that one's good. On today's video, as you can tell, I'm very chill today because we're gonna get deep about something that a lot of people don't talk about in the spiritual community, and that is why forgiveness is difficult and how it runs very deep. So stay tuned to the very end because this may assist you if you're having trouble with allowing yourself to fully forgive someone or something that's happened in your life. And just remember, trigger warnings. This is going to get real deep, but it will assist you to be able to move forward on your journey with more harmony and love in your heart. What is up, you beautiful beings? Squeeze me. It's tea time with Brittany. Squeeze me. Yo, ever since I got this, I'm like obsessed with this. And I'm not a coffee drinker, so it's like finally having something with like herbs that are healthy for me. Yeah, I'm all in the lab, I'm all in the lab. But what is up, you beautiful beings? I'm hoping you're having a blissful Friday so far, blissful morning, or a day wherever you are in the world. Oh, but if you're new to this channel, welcome. My name is Brittany Fontanez. What I do on this channel, I speak about spirituality with compassion, emotional awareness with love. I do guided readings for each zodiac signs. And lastly, I talk about things that need to be talked about that aren't talked about, boo-boo, so it can set you free. And I also expand the consciousness of the collective because it's the whole point of all of us waking up is to help each other come back into unity. Other than that, you beautiful beings, if you enjoy your time with me today or gain any clarity or any upliftment for your spiritual journey, just one, I thank you so much. And also, if you do resonate with the message today or with my energy, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification button so you won't miss out on any videos, and I'll greatly appreciate your support on my channel. But beautiful beings, let's get right into this because this is going to run very deep. A lot of people in the spiritual community don't talk about this enough. Oh, my feet. And I feel like it needs to be talked about. So let's get into it. Tea time, bro. Tea time. So you hear a lot of people in the spiritual community talk about you need to forgive. And you hear that saying, you know, it's forgiveness is for you, it's for you, it's for you. It's true, it's for you. But there are some things that happen in our life that are very traumatic. And this is why a lot of people walk around with a lot of pain because they don't know how to forgive that traumatic moment or how someone treated them. And don't get me wrong, you guys. What I'm talking about today is not just about people who are a victim. It's even about people who cause the pain as well. Like for me, I've caused a lot of pain in people's lives. And this is why I do the work that I do, because I took in responsibility for all those things. But I've also been through a lot of things that caused me to hurt other people. And it took me a very long time to forgive. And I'm a Capricorn. You don't know anything about Capricorns? We're hardheads. And we have a tendency to take a long time to forgive. So, you know, I'll share with you guys personally. I've been through physical abuse, through a sibling, and also sexual abuse. I've been through verbal abuse, been bullied majority of my life, not just through school, but through family members as well. Had traumatic experience with what I've seen between my parents and what my parents have done. My life was not really one any kid should go through. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there, hence why you're on the spiritual journey, is because religion is based off of being fearful of hell, but we already been through hell. This is why we're in spirituality. This is why we awaken to the other realm beyond our physical plane. So, you know, that's what happens when you have a spiritual awakening. It's like all the pain is finally pressurized to the point it combusts, and that's how we have a spiritual awakening. That's what happened to me. But overall, all of that had brought me to a state. I'm 26 now, and getting here at this age, I've been through a lot of things where I made decisions that were very toxic, very unhealthy, very traumatic. And yeah, I would say traumatic. Everything that happened to me that I tried to avoid happening it to me, I end up becoming that. And that's what happens to us. We end up becoming what hurt us. And it's hard. It's hard. And we don't like our decisions or like who we are, so we suppress that, we hide that, we wear masks, we use substances, we don't really know how to face it, and it's because we haven't fully forgiven it. Now, forgiveness is hard. Let's just be honest. Forgiveness is hard, the same way healing is hard. But here's the reason why it's hard, that most people in the spiritual community don't really explain. They just want you, not saying bypass. Not a lot of people in the spiritual community are like this. They just share what they share because they already been through it. But I'm in the process of going through it, so I'm willing to share the understanding of it. The reason why it's hard for us to forgive is because we're not willing to understand the perspective or the circumstance or the traumatic moment in a bigger picture, in a bigger light. And I know you might be saying, but it wasn't right. I get it. It wasn't right. And you might have moments in life where you blame God. I blame God a lot. Excuse me, it's getting a little vulnerable, but I blame God a lot for a very long time. And now I have a really great connection with God because I started to see the bigger picture. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because, yesterday I was with a friend. I haven't seen her in a while, so it was really great to see her. And she had a fortune cookie on her table. She had a fortune cookie on her table. And, in my past lives, I was totally fucking Asian. I actually was an Asian assassin. Past life. So it makes sense why I like sushi, I like rice, I like all those things. I love it. Oh my God, I love noodles. Noodles. No, not the ramen noodles. Asian noodles. The lo mein noodles, what I'm talking about. But, so she had a fortune cookie on her table, and I decided to pick one because, fortune cookie's a fortune cookie, bro. So, this is what I got. And I didn't understand it. But it says, I did understand it, but I'm going to get in depth on my day. It says, you don't need strength to let go of something. What you really need is understanding. And yesterday when I was driving home, I watch a lot of tarot readers on YouTube because it helps me develop my intuition, my skills, and pretty much get different depictions. So I was listening to one of my favorite tarot readers on my sign, Capricorn. Excuse me, guys. I need to sip. Take a sip. Hydrate. So I was watching her. She was explaining pretty much my situation with a past relationship I had. It was very traumatic. That breakup was very, very traumatic to the point I faced anxiety that I didn't even know I had. It was really bad. It was to the point I couldn't even walk because my legs were shaking so profusely. It was like a machine was hooked up to my feet and it was shaking me like a mofo. And it was so hard for me to walk. It was so hard for me to sit. It was very traumatic for me energetically. And I knew I was facing a lot of blockages, a lot of lower energies that were in my body that were ready to be released for so many years. Hence, learning to forgive and facing that fear of abandonment issues and codependency and all of that. But I was listening to her, and her story was pretty much telling me what I was going through a karmic situation or through a twin flame journey. And she was pretty much saying how a twin flame journey, this is a side note, so take what resonates. She was just explaining a twin flame journey is all about two people who have the same mission here on the planet. And she was pretty much saying how I was having a hard time forgiving that person in order to allow my new beginnings to come in. And she was right. She was right. That's exactly how I felt. And and it's funny, when I got that fortune, I was like, this makes sense. Because I'm in a place right now where I'm really trying to allow myself to grow and to not move past things as in bypass them, but to be able to move through them so I can overcome them. Because you can't overcome anything until you walk through it first. That's the goal. That's the key. A lot of people don't remember. So it bogged on me. And I learned that we haven't fully forgiven anything or anyone if it still bothers us. And then when I got that fortune, it made sense to me today. I was like, when I woke up this morning, it made sense to me today because it was still on my mind. And I knew I had to do a video on this. And I was like, yeah, I haven't fully, truly forgiven. And this is why it's hard for us to forgive, is because we're not willing to understand that what we had to go through and face between something or someone was really trying to help us awaken to our divine plan. And the way the universe works, we all have divine blueprints that is designed for us, meaning that in the Akashic records, there's a plan for us to go through our life here on this planet, learn what we need to learn, gain the lessons, and be the expression of those lessons. And so, our soul chooses, little do we know, before we come onto this planet, our soul chooses these hardships. Our soul chooses all the things that we go through and what we choose. Little do we know. This is why we have amnesia, and this is why we need to remember who we are, hence awaken. And when you can see that bigger picture, you will realize that all the torment, the pain was really here to level you up. It was really here to, I wouldn't say teach you how to grow up, but teach you to level up in the position that your soul chose for you before you came onto this planet, as in a contract. So I know this is hard to understand, but this has everything to do with forgiveness, because we need to be willing to understand that when things happen, or when things happen between two people, is really here to show us what we haven't fully accepted yet, and we need to accept. And this is the way of how you can forgive, is by understanding that acceptance not only leads towards freedom and moving on, but it leads towards transformation. When you can accept what has happened in your past, you allow it to be a part of you, because here's the thing, it is a part of you. It's attached to you. You're going to die with it. You can't run away from it. Try to run away from that, you're running away from yourself. So that's the one thing to truly forgive, is like accepting the fact that this had to happen, because it had to show you what you still need to level up into that you have been avoiding. Now, the second way to forgive, knowing how hard it is by realizing it had nothing to do with you. That's the big one. It had nothing to do with you. The circumstance, the person, the way they treated you, the way how things had nothing to do with you. If anything, it had everything to do with showing you how you still neglected yourself, and how you've forgotten yourself, and how you need to be here for yourself first. Usually, anything that happens in our life. That's why we shouldn't deem our worth on how people treat us, because they're only treating us from a level of how they treat themselves. That's it. So like I said, it has nothing to do with you. That's why you need to learn how not to take things personally. And that's hard to do. That's really hard to do, because we were taught to allow things to get to us and not care about emotions. But that's a great way to start chaos, isn't it? But that's the second way, is by realizing that it had nothing to do with you in the first place. Now, the one last tip that I have to be able to truly, fully forgive someone, you got first one, acceptance. Second, had nothing to do with you. And third, by realizing that, I need to take a sip for that. Squeeze me, you guys. Let's take another sip. The last and final thing that's really helped me to forgive is by realizing we all have our own pain. We all have our own pain. And it would be very naive of us, very arrogant of us, to believe that we're the only ones who are special enough to deem a worthy life. Meaning that just because someone else hurt us doesn't mean they still don't deserve happiness. Just because things have happened to us from people or circumstance doesn't mean it doesn't deserve for it to not to exist or not to be accepted. So you have to realize that everything that has happened had to exist for a reason, and it deserved to exist even with that person. They deserve to exist because we all have our own shit. We all have our own pain. Hurt people because they're hurting, not because they're bad people. That's why it took me a while to really understand serial killers. It's like they're not killing because they're evil. Some of them are possessed, but let's be honest. But some of them are really deeply hurting. This world has been, the foundation of this world so far has been rooted in deep-seated pain. This is why to be able to forgive is by realizing all of us have our own pain that we're trying to process and understand. And this is why you have to be able to accept, not take things personally, and see the bigger picture. Because you're not the only one who has your own thing. And that takes humility. That takes a lot of humility to be able to be not just a bigger person, but the vessel of God in this existence, like Yeshua, like Jesus. To be able to stand tall and be like, you're loved no matter what. That takes humility, because you have to realize, one, we are one with God, but we aren't God. So we got to see the way God sees, and to be able to realize you're existing just like me. You've been through things maybe just like me, but process them in a different way, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. We all just got things we need to learn and process on our own individual journey. I accept that. I love you. You know, I'm sorry. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Thank those people. Thank that circumstance. Thank them. God dang. Give gratitude to it. Because forgiveness can lead you to gratitude. And let me tell you, gratitude is so fucking powerful. When you can be thankful for those circumstances and those people who have hurt you, that's the real relief. To be grateful. Because then you're able to see the bigger picture that, wow, this was just trying to help me level up into the position that my soul has written out for me on this planet. So those are ways to understand why forgiveness is so hard, and ways to be able to apply forgiveness. Now, please understand, this is going to be an everyday process. It's never going to end. It's an everyday process. You will have to make a priority, hence shadow work, and take your time with this. Have compassion with this. The whole reason why we need to forgive is because we have to be able to see ourselves in the light, where if someone has hurt us or something has hurt us, we have to be able to see it with such love, especially with the person. If they stole from you, hurt you, manipulated you, cheated on you, betrayed you, you have to be able to willing to be able to still see yourself as like, I will still hug this person. I will still say thank you. I will still say I love them. I will still hang out with them. And it's because, not because you're naive, it's because you're able to see how God sees, which is love. And forgiveness is love. Let me tell you. So if you gain clarity out of this message, please let me know in the comments. I really like to know your feedback. But if you enjoy spending your time here with me, or if you felt like, you know, finally someone understood something or it did help you, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, hit that notification button. I know today was really chill, but you know, talking about a deep topic like this, we need to be in a place of feeling like we could be vulnerable and feel like there is compassion in there. So I would greatly appreciate you supporting my channel. But other than that, if you're looking for a personal reading or any healing sessions, you can go book an appointment with me. All of my services are in the link in the description below this video. And lastly, follow me on Instagram if you want to get to know me on a deeper level. But I will see you beautiful beings on the next one. And please have a wonderful weekend.